Chicago Tonight, Black Voices is made possible in part by Fifth Third Bank and by the support of these donors.
At Fifth Third, we believe when diverse voices are heard and empowered, communities are made stronger, lives are made better, and the future holds greater promise for all. That's why we're proud to support Chicago Tonight Black Voices. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can drive change.
Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight, Black Voices. I'm Brandis Friedman and thank you for sharing part of your weekend with us. On the show tonight, a conversation with TV host, physician, and crime fiction writer Dr. Ian Smith. Efforts by medical professionals and institutions to make healthcare anti-racist. This week's Throwback marks the 33rd anniversary of Mayor Harold Washington's untimely death. How a public art piece is encouraging resilience in a Northwest Side community, and small business owner C. Spike Trotman on why she says you should shop small to save your neighborhoods. First off tonight, as the host of The Doctors, Dr. Ian Smith has been covering the COVID-19 pandemic from just about every angle. And as news of vaccines becoming available is a welcome light at the end of this long, dark tunnel, there's plenty of work to be done before these vaccines can begin to return to normal, or begin to return us to normal. Joining us now to talk COVID vaccines and more, of course, is physician, author, and host of The Doctors, Dr. Ian Smith. And Dr. Smith is also a member of the WTTW board. Welcome to Chicago Tonight, Black Voices.
Brandis, thanks for having me tonight.
Absolutely. So since October, you've been the solo host of The Doctors. How would you say the show has changed, both because they've gone from, several doctors to you, the solo host, but also amid the pandemic?
Well, it's changed dramatically. First of all, our location. So we shoot on a much smaller stage. We have a much smaller crew. We even have a compliance officer who's in the studio with us, making sure that everyone is 6 feet apart and that everyone is wearing their mask. I'm the only one who doesn't wear a mask, obviously, like yourself when you're sitting there talking to camera, but in general, we're all wearing masks. The other thing is that we've changed the format of the show. It's a faster show. We still cover the X's and O's of medicine, of course, diagnosis and treatment, but we've expanded it to include overall wellness, things like music. Music is medicine, so we have musicians come on and talk about their music and what it can do for people. We have comedians come on who give us a lighter take on the day's health trends. And then we have a book club. My book club is called the Word Power Book Club because we believe that books can inspire and transcend and also help people be distracted from the stress that's been going on.
Of course, and we're going to get to your book in a little bit as well. But we also are, everybody's looking at these couple of vaccines that we know are in the works and that are on the way. What do we know so far about how these vaccines work?
What we know so far is that they're very effective. They're both about 95% effective, which is really good. We don't have all the safety data in, but the preliminary safety data shows that there are very few side effects, definitely nothing of major import to say to people, don't take the vaccine. They're 2-shot vaccines. You take one, then take a second shot for full immunity. But here's the key, Brandon, two things. One is that we have to have 75% of the population take the vaccine for it to be effective for all of us. So you just can't have 10 or 20 million. You got to have the 200 million plus people take the vaccine. The second thing is we have to make sure there's proper distribution, that everyone has access to the vaccine. Not only those who are connected, only those who have money, but everyone from all walks of life must have equal access to this vaccine. It's extremely important.
And on that note, you and I both know that many Black people or many Black communities don't necessarily trust the medical community because of some history. Should the medical community be doing more to encourage Blacks to understand that the virus is safe and effective if that's the case?
Absolutely, because here's what's important. You have to look at the history. You look at the Tuskegee experiment, which kind of started the whole white coat syndrome for African Americans. And those, even though that was a while ago, there still is that feeling in the Black community about whether or not we're guinea pigs, whether or not there's some other agenda going on. So yes, the medical establishment must reach out and get African Americans to understand that this is safe, it's effective, and they have to be very transparent. That's going to be important because if you don't have enough African Americans also taking the vaccine, then the population still will not be protected. And this is one of the cases, Brandon, like we've been saying all along, This is about doing it together. You can't have one segment of the population do it and not the other. We are interconnected here, whether people like it or not.
Many of us know you for your wellness books. You've written quite a few of those. But your third work of fiction is Unspoken. It is out right now, and it's a detective story. Some of the themes can, resonate with real life events. Tell us a little bit about what it's about.
Yeah, I'm excited about The Unspoken. It's based here in Chicago, our home city. It's basically a private investigator who used to be a detective with the Chicago Police Department. He leaves the force because he won't participate in the cover-up of a bad police shooting. We all know about that. So he leaves the force, he becomes a private investigator, hangs up his shingle in the South Loop, and basically his first case is a wealthy North Shore girl who suddenly disappears, and her very aristocratic mother comes down to the South Loop, finds our private investigator, our man Ash Kane, and asks him to help find her missing daughter. So the book is really an ode to Chicago, though. Chicago is a character. We go to the South Side, to the West Side, to the North Side, to the lake, all the different restaurants. So though I'm excited for Chicagoans to read this book because you're going to recognize all these places that all of us are frequent so often in our regular daily lives.
Now, writing crime fiction, I know this is your third work of fiction, but it's still, sort of a shift from what we're used to seeing you do, Dr. Smith. How did you make that shift from wellness and medicine to crime fiction?
Well, I've always been a lover of mystery and thrillers and suspense, always. I've always read it, I've always watched it and written for myself with it. But here's the key. The key is that I was telling someone earlier today, doctors are more than just doctors. Doctors can be musicians, they can be artists, they can be authors. So it's not really a transition. It's something I've always had a passion for, and I'm excited to do it. I love telling great stories. I love being held myself captive by great stories, and I want to do the same to readers. The book just got optioned to become a TV series, so fingers crossed it gets sold to a network. But yeah, it's a real passion of mine. It's fun, and it's just very engaging.
And of course, congrats on that. Before we let you go, of course, as cases are surging of COVID, Thanksgiving is this week. How will you be observing the holiday, and what is your advice to the rest of us?
My family will be observing it very quietly at home. We will talk to our loved ones who are in other cities and other states via Zoom or the phone. But listen, this is not a joke. We have to take this very seriously. We have a lot of cases. The numbers are through the roof, and there is light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine. So if everyone can just slow down, be patient, we're going to get through this, but let's not have more detriment occur as we're waiting for the vaccines to take hold. So everyone just be patient.
Okay. Our thanks to Dr. Ian Smith for joining us. Best of luck with the book, and hope to have you back again soon. Take care.
Thank you, Brandis. Take care.
And up next, efforts to make healthcare anti-racist in a conversation recorded earlier. But first, news of Mayor Harold Washington's sudden death shook the city 33 years ago this month. In tonight's Throwback, we revisit the moment when Chicagoans learned the city's first black mayor had died.
I'm Alton Miller, the mayor's press secretary, and it's my sad responsibility to let you know that Mayor Washington was pronounced dead this afternoon at 1:36.
Following the announcement by Alton Miller, the hospital's chief of staff explained that the mayor never regained consciousness after his collapse at 11:01 a.m.
He was placed upon an advanced form of heart-lung machine which can be applied very quickly. Unfortunately, the mayor sustained irreversible brain damage. We could not get any signs of neurologic recovery nor spontaneous cardiac activity, and he was pronounced dead at 1:36 this afternoon.
This city has lost a very good friend and a great mayor. We are asking everybody in the city to pull together in this very difficult time.
A lot of people are going to really miss him. A lot of people are going to really miss Harold Washington. So we hope we get another good mayor in that can do a wonderful, good job like Harold Washington did.
I think he was a great man, and I think that he did a lot of wonderful things for Chicago.
Sad.
And it's very, very sad.
As the day ended, the black and purple bunting had been draped on the front door at City Hall. The city's first black mayor was dead, 4.5 years after writing Chicago history. At age 65, few felt Harold Washington would really last 20 years as he often promised. But few felt his stay would be so brief.
For months, we've covered how the COVID-19 pandemic has disproportionately impacted Black and Latino communities. That disparity has magnified the pervasive racial disparities in America's healthcare system, from coverage to treatment to outcomes. A 2017 study by the Center for American Progress concluded that these disparities resulted from decades of inequality in not just our healthcare systems, but our economic and social systems. Joining us to talk about making healthcare anti-racist are Dr. Tiasha Bailey, Executive Director of Susan G. Komen Chicago, Dr. Brittany James, co-founder of the Institute for Anti-Racism in Medicine and Assistant Professor at the University of Illinois College of Medicine, and Dr. Jonathan Morera, Assistant Professor at Northwestern University's Feinberg School of Medicine. Thanks to you all for making time for us today. Dr. James, let's start with you, please. How do we see racism, manifest in healthcare outcomes?
Well, I think the important thing to understand is that racism operates on more than one level. What most people think of is interpersonal racism. In other words, racism that I give to another person. That could be, police brutality or something that maybe something racist someone says. But for healthcare, it's really important to think about how racism manifests and affects patients looking at different levels, particularly the structural level, meaning the way that we build our institutions to create racial disparities. That could be policies that differentially affect Black or brown people, limiting their access to healthcare, for example. We just have to take a step back and understand that it's more than just a doctor or a nurse doing something racist to a patient. It's about the system that we built in healthcare that really creates these racial disparities.
Dr. Bailey, of course, Susan G. Komen focuses on breast cancer. How do Black women's experience with treating breast cancer and their outcomes, how do they differ from those of other women?
So what we've learned over the years is that Chicago, we've made some great strides with respect to mortality disparities here locally, where at one point we were as high as 69%, but today we're at about 40%, where African-American women are dying at a higher rate than their white counterparts. But when you really age adjust those rates and really break it down, you find that African-American women under the age of 40 are dying as high as, that rate goes from 40% to 157%. So we know that here our work in Chicago is really getting to younger Black women and really looking at the systems and the access and the types of care that they are able to get and making sure that it's timely and high quality.
That's a shocking statistic when you put it that way. Dr. Morera, do language barriers contribute to these unequal outcomes for Latinos?
I absolutely think that they do. They really create an issue with regards to communication between providers, be they physicians or nurses. I think it also causes an inhibition in a failure of building trust between providers and patients. There's a lack of understanding when there are potential barriers to misunderstandings of adherence to medications or appointments. And I think that also spills over into cultural barriers to care. So that is absolutely a significant barrier that I see in my own practice and largely within, other fields within medicine.
Dr. Bailey, what can healthcare institutions do to correct for a history of racism? And not just, healthcare institutions, but providers, the government, med schools.
Yeah, well, I think that, one thing that Dr. James brought up is just this idea that racism comes in many forms. And I think that is the first piece of it, is the acknowledgement that racism can be as overt as Jim Crow and as overt as Jim Crow and as covert as kind of that mistreatment of a patient, kind of that one-on-one. I think that we as institutions need to look at our policies that systematically exclude groups and communities of color. I think there's some work that needs to be done when thinking about training clinicians and cultural competency and really addressing implicit bias. So that subconscious bias where people don't even recognize that their assumptions tend to lead to kind of disparities with respect to, how you treat one patient versus another. And so I think it's about that acknowledgement and really sitting down and saying, hey, we need to address racism on all levels. And I don't think it looks different from the government, from an institution. We all have the lift and the obligation to do our part.
And Dr. Morera, in light of COVID-19's impact on Black and brown communities, have researchers done enough to include those folks, those communities, in clinical trials?
Well, historically, that's been a major barrier to translating the strides that we make in clinical trials to marginalized communities, Black and brown communities in particular. There has been, I think, in the most recent trial data that was released by the press releases for the Moderna vaccine and for the Pfizer vaccine, I think there is a more deliberate effort to include patients who come from historically marginalized communities, from Black and Brown communities. But I think there's a significant amount of work that needs to be done in designing clinical trials that actively recruit these patients. And I think in large part that also happens to be an issue where if we don't have enough Black and Brown researchers and physicians to design these kinds of clinical trials and to incorporate the needs of these communities, then we're going to continue to falter in representing the needs of all Americans.
Dr. James, what would you say are some of the biggest barriers to working against all of these issues?
I think what I would call what's known as white fragility, honestly, has been one of the biggest barriers to, I think, racial progress. And that's really, when I say that, what I'm talking about is this idea that white Americans, white people, are not used to even naming racism, nonetheless recognize how it operates in our society and within themselves. And when presented with the idea of racism, a lot of white people feel very uncomfortable. They feel like they don't want to continue the conversation, they kind of shut down, or they will dismiss or other lived realities of Black and Brown people. And really, that's a big barrier. Moving past the discomfort to actually name racism and then to do the work of understanding how it operates inside of us. And it does operate in all of us because we were raised in American society. So knowing that, moving past the discomfort, moving to action and conversation is really important.
And Dr. Bailey, we've got, about 30 seconds left. What advice do you have for patients to be sure that they're guarding themselves against experiencing these results?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is arming yourself with knowledge that we all have to really come to terms of what anti-racism looks like and feels like. Also doing the work to find our own voice, right? To speak out against racism in all forms. I think a lot of times we see things and don't necessarily act and use our voice, but it's important to be able to find that voice and also use our voice to uplift others. And I want us to, as a nation, to find a way to come together so that we are all collectively doing what it takes to be able to become the anti-racist system that we know we can be, and moving from the division and the divisive behavior, because that doesn't support the beliefs and the ideals that we know are possible.
Got our work cut out for us. My thanks to Dr. Tiasha Bailey, Dr. Brittany James, and Dr. Jonathan Moreta. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Back with more Chicago Tonight Black Voices right after this. But first, a pair of shuts and a look at what's on tap this week.
Brandis, we've got a lot planned on Chicago Tonight. As COVID cases surge, we visit the medical district as the next stop in our In Your Neighborhood series. Plus, musician and Fargo actor Andrew Bird on his festive new holiday album. That's this week at 7 here on 11.
As the city grapples with yet another COVID-19 wave, a healthcare center on the northwest side is encouraging the neighborhood to remain resilient with the help of a public art piece. Arts correspondent Angel Ito shares more on their latest community initiative.
In collaboration with the Chicago Public Art Group, visual artist Ramon Static is bridging the gap between healthcare providers and the community they serve with a mural reminding them they're all in this together.
We're all connected at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is that, granted, these individuals are healthcare workers when they're here, but they go home, there's someone's mom, someone's dad right there.
Commissioned by Prime Care Health, the facility has been working to meet the influx of COVID testing demands that have increased within the past month.
Within the last few weeks, I've seen an increase from 7 to 10 tests being done whenever we were here to all of a sudden needing to open up to at least 30, almost 40 slots per day for our testing.
Static's thank you to their commitment can be seen in an image of one of the facility's physician assistants nestled between other members of the neighborhood.
So how would you say this mural is providing relief for healthcare workers that are now seeing it on a daily basis?
Actually brightens up the community. Most of us walk in and for the last few days have been looking at the different pieces as they're coming together, and it gives us a bit more color and a little bit more brightness throughout the day.
The bottom line is that what they're doing helps society stay together right there, and they're almost like the fabrics of society.
The public art piece also reflects the area's different cultures and ethnicities.
So it starts off with the two dancing ladies with both the Polish word and the Spanish word familia next to them to kind of identify the culture they're connected with. Next to the Mexican lady dancing, it's actually supposed to be like the eclectic Caribbean black dude. It's an aesthetic of African culture that blends into Latin culture right there, right? So in other words, like, because I got a lot of homies that's Jamaican, Dominican, Haitian right there, where, they're black, but they're Latin at the same time right there. So it kind of blends in culturally together right there. And I kind of want to highlight that, them being who they are as a result of the American cultural melting pot right there. It ends off with it saying, our strength is our community right there, which is the bigger picture, right? So like, in other words, that speaks volumes, in regards to the diversity of the community. The different variables of the community is what gives the community its power.
For Black Voices, I'm Angel Ito.
And if you're interested in checking out the mural in person, it's located at Prime Care Health in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood on Belmont. And of course, there's more information on that on our website. As 2020 comes to a close, the events of this unprecedented year have devastated Chicago's small businesses. Artist and small business owner C. Spike Trotman gives us the last word on why she says it's important to support small businesses and communities as many struggle to make it in 2021.
I'm C. Spike Trotman, and I am a small business person. I've spent the last 13 years building Iron Circus Comics into the largest comics publisher in Chicago, possibly the Midwest. I can't say for sure. This sort of thing is hard to quantify, but you know what? It sounds true and it feels good, so I'm going to keep saying it until proven otherwise. And you know what the best thing about putting 13 years of blood, sweat, and tears into a small business is? The abject horror when you realize that it could be vaporized in a second by a global pandemic. That is super cool and super great. And by super cool and great, I mean completely horrifying in every way. Not just for me, but for my creators, for my audience, for my employees, for literally everyone in my life. Just so you know, I am not saying this to be a diva or have a pity party. I had the pity party, it was weeks ago, it was amazing. I'm saying this to let you know I come from a place of intimate knowledge of the state of small business, not just in Chicago, but in the United States in general. There are so many small businesses, thousands of small businesses right now that are in the same position I am. We are teetering on a precipice, and for some of us, it's not looking that great. I read a lot of local news, and it seems like every other article that's coming up is about a venue, a restaurant, a small business place, a small store that is not going to see the other side of this pandemic. And that's more than the loss of a place to buy tacos or get a new pair of pants. This is something that is ending the incomes of entrepreneurs and their families. That's a rent bill that maybe isn't getting paid. That's grocery and lights that maybe aren't going to be guaranteed anymore. That's something that it's entirely possible they will not financially recover from. Now, when I say these things, I say them with the knowledge that help is not coming. And I know how bad that sounds, but there will be no bailout for us. There will be no grants. There will be no lifelines thrown. This is on us to fix. And by us, I mean me and I mean you. So please, from me to you, from every small business owner in Chicago, do your part. The next time you need a pair of pants or lunch or a book, resist the urge to press a button on your computer and order it online. Throw on a mask, go down the block, get it from someone local, and keep the money in the community. Not to get super conspiratorial on you, but we all know who is going to benefit most from this shutdown. It's going to be the international conglomerates who are pushing us slowly but steadily towards a more homogeneous, less vital, less diverse, and less interesting society. And it's in your power to stave that off, to stop that from happening, to keep small businesses from collapsing, and keep your neighborhood the way it is. Or you can spend 2023 talking about what a cool neighborhood this used to be.
And thank you to Spike Trotman for that last word. This weekend is bringing not one, but two reminders to shop small this year. Not only is the Saturday after Thanksgiving considered Small Business Saturday, but this year, Chicago has joined an effort to turn Black Friday into Black Shop Friday, a program encouraging people to buy from Black-owned businesses this holiday season. You can read WTTW News reporter Patty Wetley's story about Black Shop Friday on our website. And that's our show for this Sunday night. Be sure to check out our website, WTTW.com/news, for the very latest from WTTW News. Chicago Tonight Black Voices will be off the next 2 weeks, but we will be right back here on December 13th. And in the meantime, you can join Paris Schutz and me tomorrow at 7 on Chicago Tonight. Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight Black Voices, I'm Brandis Friedman. Thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm that is proud of their attorneys selected for the 2020 Illinois Super Lawyers List.